In the alpha and beta versions of GTA San Andreas, the developers initially planned to include a staggering 227 unique interiors, reflecting an ambitious scope for the game's environments. However, due to a combination of development challenges, technical limitations, and time constraints, this number was ultimately scaled back to 137 in the final release. Many of these planned interiors were located in the game's three major cities: Los Santos, San Fierro, and Las Venturas. The removal of these interiors was a significant change that impacted the game's overall design and experience. Although they were cut from the final version, remnants of some of these interiors can still be observed in the game. They occasionally appear in cutscenes, mission sequences, and even through various game files that were left behind, giving players and modders a glimpse into what might have been. This video delves into the notable interiors that were originally intended for Los Santos, one of the game's key cities. It explores which interiors were removed and why, providing insights into the development decisions made during the game's creation. The removal of Sweet's house interior was influenced by a few key factors that could rival a soap opera plot twist. As development progressed, Sweet's role in the game took a nosedive, transforming him from a central figure to a supporting character whose house became about as relevant as a phone booth in a smartphone world. The developers decided it was time to streamline the game, focusing on the essentials and ditching the extras that were less critical. Think of it as trimming the fat off a steak to get to the juicy parts. Sweet's house, once a prime piece of real estate, was among the features sacrificed in the name of game efficiency. On the technical side, getting rid of non-essential features helped the game run smoother than a well-oiled machine. By cutting out the clutter, they made sure the gameplay was as seamless as a freshly waxed floor, ensuring that players could enjoy a polished experience without tripping over unnecessary details. While Sweet's house might have been evicted from the game, the result is a more focused and well-tuned experience for everyone. Next, let's explore the interior of Ryder's house. Initially, in the alpha version of the game, players were expected to access Ryder's house for a number of missions, which would have added depth to the gameplay experience. However, as development progressed, Rockstar encountered significant issues with Ryder's voice actor, Arton Tyler. These issues not only disrupted the voice recording process, but also led to substantial changes in Ryder's storyline. Ryder's character was eventually reworked to collaborate with the Crash Group, a shift that resulted in his removal from the game's narrative. Consequently, with the alteration of Ryder's role and storyline, the developers made the decision to remove both the interior of Ryder's house and the related mission content from the final version of the game. As a result, this interior is no longer accessible to players, marking a notable change from what was originally planned in the alpha build. The recording studio interior in Los Santos was removed from the final version of the game for several reasons. Initially, the side mission associated with the recording studio was deemed insignificant, as it did not contribute meaningfully to the main storyline or gameplay. As a result, both the mission and the studio interior were removed. Additionally, the developers aimed to streamline the game by focusing on essential elements that were central to the narrative and gameplay. Removing the recording studio helped simplify the game's design, reducing complexity and improving performance. This decision ultimately contributed to a smoother and more efficient gaming experience. The next interior is about OG Locke's house, where the removal of the interior remains unexplained. Initially, the alpha version of the game included access to the interior, but it was later removed. One possible reason could be OG Locke's evolving role in the story, as he shifts from Grove Street to collaborate with Big Smoke, who betrays CJ. This change might have influenced the decision to exclude the interior. Additionally, time and development constraints, technical limitations, and design choices could have contributed to the removal. Rockstar has not provided an official explanation for this decision. Let's move on to the next interior, which is one of CJ's villas in Richman. This villa was intended to be a luxurious property that players could enter and explore. It was planned to be accessible in the beta version of the game, but was removed from the final release. Like the Sayonara Hotel and Restaurant interior, this villa is also found in the game files and can be accessed through modding or exploration. The exact reasons for its removal are not entirely clear, but it likely relates to development constraints or decisions to streamline the game. The development team may have needed to cut certain features to ensure the game was completed on time and met performance standards. The absence of this villa is noted by fans who explore cut content, seeing it as a missed opportunity to add more depth to the game's environment. Verdant's character was originally a big player in the game, and his house was meant to reflect that. However, as the story evolved, Verdant's role shrank faster than a balloon with a pinhole. With his importance dwindling, the house became a bit of a ghost town in terms of relevance. To keep things streamlined and snappy, the developers decided to cut out Verdant's house interior. They wanted to focus on the core elements that truly mattered to the story and gameplay. In other words, they trimmed the fat to make sure the game didn't get bogged down by unnecessary fluff. By ditching the less crucial features, including Verdant's once important abode, they managed to deliver a more polished and engaging game. So, while Verdant's house might be missing, the game itself is more focused and ready to deliver a smoother ride. The interior of the Vagos gang house was removed in the final version, likely due to a combination of factors. One possible reason is that the house was set on fire in the game's storyline, making it illogical for players to enter a house they themselves had burned, which had no further relevance to the game's story. Minor bugs in the alpha stages, such as players being thrown out of the house or parts of the interior disappearing, also contributed to the decision to cut it. Time and resource constraints might have played a role as well. Additionally, the house's reduced importance to the main narrative likely influenced its exclusion. Rockstar has not provided an official explanation for this removal. The Sayonara Hotel and Restaurant in Verdant Bluffs was an intended interior location in GTA San Andreas. Although it exists in the game files and can be accessed through modding or exploration, it was removed from the final release. The exact reasons for its removal are not fully known, but it may be related to development challenges or a decision to streamline the game's content. This interior was designed as a luxurious hotel and restaurant, meant to add depth and realism to the game world. Its absence is noted by fans who explore the game's cut content and often speculate about the additional experience it could have provided if it had been included in the final version. The interior of the Ballas crack safe house was removed in the final version of the game due to changes in Ballas's role, which gradually became less important. As his relevance diminished, the safe house no longer fit into the main storyline. To streamline the game and focus on key elements, the developers decided to remove unnecessary content, including the safe house. This decision helped improve the game's performance and provided players with a more focused and smoother experience. The interior of Los Santos International Airport in GTA San Andreas is a fascinating topic. Originally, the airport was planned to have a detailed interior, including elements like terminals, ticket counters, and other facilities. In the alpha version of the game, this airport was fully accessible to all players, providing a glimpse into what was intended for the final release. The developers had envisioned a robust and immersive experience where players could interact with the airport's various components. However, due to several technical issues, such as NPCs disappearing, certain locations becoming invisible, and frequent game crashes, the developers faced significant challenges. These problems affected the game's performance, especially on older computers. As a result, the decision was made to remove the interior entirely to ensure a smoother and more stable experience for all players. Interestingly, the planned minigame for traveling by plane was supposed to be integrated within this airport interior. This meant that to fly to other cities like San Fierro, Las Venturas, or even within Los Santos itself, players would need to enter this area and use the flight gates to select their destinations. This feature would have added a new layer of depth and realism to the game, but the technical difficulties ultimately led to its exclusion. In this video, I took a closer look at the notable and intriguing interiors that were originally planned for Los Santos in the alpha and beta versions of GTA San Andreas. I explored which interiors were removed before the final release and delved into the reasons behind these changes. This exploration provides a fascinating glimpse into how the game evolved from its initial design to the final version we play today. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content about GTA, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future uploads. I'd also love to hear from you which of the removed interiors did you find most interesting? Share your thoughts and comments below. God bless.